Rams, Seahawks, whoever wins goes to the Super Bowl. Welcome back, guys. Your boy Chris from Sports Pick Chris, and today we're coming back to with another video. Again, we're going to go over the NFC Championship matchup, the Los Angeles Rams versus the Seattle Seahawks. Let's get right into it. Obviously, this is the battle for the Super Bowl in the NFC. We have two division teams. Again, the Rams versus Seattle. Going to be probably the best game of the weekend. Two explosive offense and two just elite, top 10 units on defense, which arguably makes this the most interesting and intriguing game almost of the entire year. They split regular season, which definitely makes it, again, very interesting. A couple of storylines coming into it is going to be the Seattle defense versus the Rams offense. I think it's the biggest one. Seattle has one of the best defenses, limited scoring, forcing turnovers, and especially one of the best defenses at home. Their defensive front has been menacing to all quarterbacks all year, including Matthew Stafford twice this year. And then on the flip side of that, we're going to look at the Rams' high-powered offense. Again, players like Puka Nacua, Davante Adams, Colby Parkinson, Tyler Higbee, Blake Corum. So we got a couple of really good players on the offense that we're going to be looking to go with. So there's a couple of matchups to watch, and I think the biggest one's going to be Stafford and the Rams passing attack and how they're going to attack this Seattle's defense. Matthew Stafford is the odds-on favorite to win MVP this year, and he has been just absolutely on fire, going over on his passing yards again and again. And we're hoping and we're going to see if he is going to probably have a strong night. Our model shows that he's going to have a really strong night. But the biggest things is going to be the Rams receivers in the red zone. During the time, Davante Adams led the NFL in receiving touchdowns. Colby Parkinson was another big red zone threat for them. Look for them to have some key targets going to the red zone and some really intermediate routes. Puka Nacua, obviously we know what kind of player he's going to be. But against the Seattle team, look to see how the Rams are going to score in the red zone. And then we have Seattle's playmakers. Obviously, probably the best receiver in football currently right now. I don't think there's too much debate about it. And the best receiver that at least was so far the regular season was Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Obviously, probably one of the most explosive receivers. And he is the odds-on favorite to win Offensive Player of the Year. And then obviously no Zach Charbonnet, but we're looking at Kenneth Walker to really carry the load. Over 100 rushing yards last week. Again, with this Rams defense, they do give up a decent amount against the run. If they can keep Sam Darnold and forcing that offense to stay running the football, it could be a very long day for the Rams. And then in my model, from what we see, is we're going to see Sam Darnold connect with a few long deep balls, and we do kind of like the over on his passing yards, if you would sway one way or the other. And then this is going to be a little bit of a different segment, but it's like how the game could play out, and just because how much the home advantage is for Seattle. Seattle at home. The Seahawks are generally favored at home, and the odds makers actually lean Seattle due to the defensive consistency, how they've been playing at home with that home field advantage. And then we have a lot of scoring expectations. A lot of our models are saying the over and the total, and the total has already moved a few points since when it opened last week. So we're expecting a ton of points in this game, not enough defense, and the line has actually moved closer to -2 going to Seattle versus when it opened up at 2.5 and then moved to 3, I think even moved to 3.5 for a little bit, but now it's already back down to 2. So a couple of player prop notes going forward. Anytime scores, there's a few of them that anyone can touch on to. Obviously, Davante Adams Kenneth Walker, Puka Nacua, and Jaxon Smith-Njigba, especially Devontae Adams in the red zone, Kenneth Walker in the red zone. Puka was just a massive touchdown. And then same thing, very similar to Jaxon Smith-Njigba, 2 explosive players in Puka and Jaxon Smith. And then you have kind of the red zone merchants of Kenneth Walker and Devontae Adams. Anyone that we really like on the rushing totals, if it's not going to be Kenneth Walker, we're kind of going to stay away from. Passing-wise, we do like Stafford. Again, the final take, and a couple of 3 questions that we kind of wrote down was, can the Seattle defense slow down this Rams offense? Is like going to be the big one. 2, will Stafford and Seattle secondary, and who's going to win that battle? And the biggest one is, who's going to have that big explosive play, JSN or Puka Nacua? Is Sean McVay going to be able to dial something up to get Puka that wide open? Or is Clint Kubiak going to be able to get JSN open against the weakest part of that the weakest part of the defense is that secondary, with Emmanuel Forbes probably going to be covering JSN. If there's a line that we're going to be at, it's going to be Rams plus 120. They were my Super Bowl favorite, so in this way I got to ride with them. If I'm giving you guys plays, it would be Seattle -2, or at that point just take Seattle money line. My personal take will be Rams plus 120 because, again, they were my Super Bowl prediction at the beginning of the year. I'm going to stick with that. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below. It's your boy Chris from Sports by Chris, and I'm out. Peace, guys.